Okay, so the river turned out to be a bit of a disappointment and I only took one shot, but I'm going to do a bit of a gamble. Good afternoon everyone, thanks for joining me again. It's the 2nd of July today and we're well into summer and it's a beautiful summer's day, which unfortunately means we've got blue skies again, but I'm going to expect those nearly every day now for the next couple of months. So I've kind of got two choices. I can either complain about it or I can just get on and try and find some images that work. Or what will probably happen is I'll probably do both. I'll find images that work, but I'll complain about the blue skies anyway. It's been really hot today, mid 30s, 35, 36, maybe even 38 degrees in some places. Although as it's now coming up on 7 o'clock, it has cooled down a little bit. I've come out to the outskirts of a little town called Novelda, and I've parked up near one of the local landmarks, which is this church that you can see behind me, which has got the most fabulous architecture. I'll show you a bit of that in a second, but I'm not here for the church. I've actually just parked here and then I'm going to climb down the hill that the church is on and go down to the river that runs through here. It's part of the Binalopo River, which I've been to before, and it's on the wine route. But I'm just going to have a wander down there and see what I can find to shoot on a day with no clouds. So 2.5 hours till sunset, so plenty of time to find something. But because the river is down in a valley, it's probably going to be a little bit earlier than that I'm going to be taking any shots that I take. So let's get a move on. Oh, but first of all, let me show you a bit of the church. Okay, so I'm down by the river now and just exploring along the trails by the side. There's a little weir here underneath what I'm kind of assuming is a pipe bridge. I mean, it's quite nice. I've got to be honest, I've already shot this once before, so I don't think I'll be shooting it again. I think I'll try and find something else. Okay, so the river's proven to be a disappointment. The water level's very low. It's all a bit boring, really. I did kind of a loop. I went down one side, crossed over at some stepping stones, and then came back up the other side. I did have an idea about maybe shooting an image with the river kind of winding in down on the side here, and then leading up to the shape of the church up there. But to be honest, there's so much else in here. There's lots of buildings, there's power lines or telephone lines or whatever they are. It just doesn't work. So what I've decided to do is just do a shot as the sun's just dropping behind the hill over there. There's a little bit of light hitting the church on the top of the hill. So I'll set up a quick shot, just talk you through that now. So I've got the 70-200 lens on all the way out at 200mm, and I'm shooting f8 and about 1/160th of a second. 2-second timer. Okay, I mean, it's not going to be an award winner, but there's a nice little bit of light just still catching the top of the church, so that might work. But I think that's probably the only shot I'm going to take down here, and I'm not even sure if that's going to work. Okay, so the river turned out to be a bit of a disappointment, and I only took one shot, and I'm not really sure how that's going to work out. It might be nice, but I don't think it's going to be anything particularly fantastic. I've come back up to this church. It's still about 1/4 of an hour until official sunset, but the sun's gone behind the neighbouring hills now, so there's no light on the scene up here now. But I'm going to do a bit of a gamble, because walking around here I've noticed there's actually some like floodlights, so I'm hoping they might actually illuminate the church once it gets dark. So I think I'm going to hang around for about an hour and see if that happens. I figure if it gets to like 40 minutes after sunset and they haven't turned the lights on, then they're not going to. Just because there's floodlights doesn't mean to say they turn them on. It might be they only turn them on for special occasions, but I think it's worth hanging around for 45 minutes or so, and or an hour, and seeing what happens. Might get an interesting shot out of it, who knows. So just a case of waiting now. Okay, so just while I'm waiting, I decided to try a little shot. There's not a fantastic amount of light on the scene, but what I've done is I've set up a composition using the trees up here to frame the top of the church. I've got a 16-35 lens, portrait orientation, 16mm, and I'm shooting f11, just basically focusing on the church, using the trees at the top and the patterns in the sort of pavement to lead into the scene. It's a little bit different. Might work, but still got to hang around and see if they actually turn the lights on. Okay, so it's 20 minutes after sunset and no sign of any lights coming on just yet. I'm kind of set up, so I've moved so that I'm a little bit off centre, because I just think it makes for a better composition now. There's lines in the sort of courtyard leading up to the front of the church. F11, I'm just focusing basically on the church itself, which at f11 should mean that everything else is pretty much in focus that I need in the foreground. But I'm still hoping they're going to put the lights on. I'll give it another half an hour before I decide to pack up. I might as well now, I've been waiting around for a little while. Okay, the lights have come on. One over here, one over there, one over there. Now all we've got to do is wait for it to get dark enough that those lights start to pick out details on the church, and hopefully we might get a good image. Okay, I've changed my composition because the spot I'd picked was one of the few places didn't actually have any light falling on the foreground. So I've moved around a bit and I'm shooting just a bit further across Okay, so it's getting properly dark now. I've kind of got myself wedged in by a rubbish bin. It's not the most glamorous place to be shooting photos, but okay. F11 and 8 seconds. Actually, I'm going to do one more at 10 seconds. That's because there's a little bit of darkness in there, that I'm sort of deeper shadows that I'm not too happy with. Okay, I think that's it for here, but I think I'm just going to move around to the other side and just see if there's another shot to be had before we lose the light completely, because it will soon be too dark to balance the light properly. Okay, so I've just quickly gone around to the other end of the church. I don't think it's as impressive this end because you haven't got those towers, but there's just like a little walled garden here and a cross that I'm going to include in the frame, so it might work. We're now on to F11 and 30 seconds, and I get the feeling this is going to be the last shot. Okay, that's it. I think it's time to pack up now. It's getting too dark, so the light balance doesn't work anymore. That's the trick with, in quotes, night shots. You really want to shoot them in the period about sort of 30 to 45 minutes after sunset, when there's still a little bit of light in the sky. It makes it much better, but the light balances much more between the artificial and the background. Anyway, that's it. Wasn't what I came out to shoot. I was hoping to get some shots down by the river. I didn't really intend to photograph the church, but you know, when one plan doesn't work, it's time to change to another one. I hope you've enjoyed the video, and if you have and you want to see more, don't forget to hit subscribe, unless you already have, in which case, thank you. Really appreciated. Like, shares and comments always appreciated as well. And I'll just say thank you very much for watching, and until the next video, bye.